Welcome to AI Dispatch, your channel for the latest AI videos on YouTube. If you don't want to miss these updates, please like, subscribe, and share. Today's video comes from Lenny's podcast. Sherwin Wu, head of engineering for OpenAI's API, presents a framework that inverts every assumption about how software is built and how startups scale. He argues that engineers now manage fleets of autonomous agents rather than write code, that fixing software means rewriting documentation instead of touching the code base, and that the billion-dollar one-person company is no longer theoretical, but imminent. His analysis dismantles the traditional relationship between human effort and technological output. Here's what he reveals. Sherwin Wu, head of engineering for OpenAI's API, opens with a claim that sounds like science fiction. The best way to write software today is to stop writing software entirely. He argues that the job description of a software engineer has already shifted from code author to fleet manager. This represents more than a productivity improvement. Sherwin observes that at OpenAI, 95% of engineers use Codex and 100% of pull requests receive AI review, yet the structural transformation runs deeper. He describes engineers as tech leads commanding autonomous agents. The old mental model involved one human typing, one line of syntax. His new reality involves a single human casting, what he literally calls spells, to direct fleets of AI agents executing tasks in parallel. He invokes the sorcerer's apprentice metaphor, where the skill lies not in performing the work, but in preventing the magical brooms from flooding the castle. This redefines the engineer's role from labourer to summoner, where the primary constraint shifts from typing speed to orchestrating chaos. Sherwin describes an internal experiment that violates every safety norm in the industry. Most teams use AI with a human escape hatch. If the AI fails, a human steps in to fix the code manually. He reveals there is a team at OpenAI maintaining a code base that is 100% written by Codex with no human fallback allowed. When the agent fails to write the correct feature, the engineers are forbidden from writing the code themselves. Instead, they must fix the context. They realize that when an agent fails, it is rarely a coding error. It is a lack of tribal knowledge. By forcing themselves to rely solely on the AI, they discovered that coding now actually means writing better documentation and markdown files to teach the model. This inverts the logic entirely. To fix the software, you don't touch the software, you fix the library of instructions given to the machine. Sherwin's product development logic presents a viewpoint that is terrifying for current AI startups. The standard advice in Silicon Valley is listen to your customers. He argues that in the AI era, listening to customers can actually lead you off a cliff. His reasoning centers on the concept that models will eat your scaffolding for breakfast. Right now, customers might ask for better vector stores or complex agent frameworks because the current models have limitations. Sherwin warns that these are temporary crutches. If you build a business around fixing today's model flaws, you are building a business that is destined to die. He cites the rapid obsolescence of vector store heavy stacks as proof. His counterintuitive advice is to build for where the models are going, not where they are. He quotes Kevin Weil, noting that this is the worst the models will ever be. This requires a form of time-traveling product strategy. You must build features that might be only 80% functional today, betting that the model improvement in 6 months will unlock the remaining 20% and make you a category winner while your competitors are still optimizing for last year's constraints. This disruption extends deeply into the economic structure of startups. We are all familiar with the concept of the unicorn, the billion-dollar company. The traditional view is that a billion-dollar company requires hundreds or thousands of employees. Sherwin believes we are rapidly approaching the reality of the one-person billion-dollar startup. The second-order effect he predicts is even more disruptive to the venture capital model. The common belief is that AI will consolidate power into a few massive winners. Sherwin argues the opposite. We are entering a golden age of B2B SaaS, characterized by extreme fragmentation. Because the cost of building software is collapsing, he predicts an explosion of tens of thousands of micro startups, companies worth $10 to $50 million, run by just one or two people, serving highly specific vertical needs. This is a nightmare for the traditional VC power law model that relies on one company returning the entire fund, but it represents a massive democratization of wealth for individuals. He suggests that instead of one giant CRM company, we might see a bespoke CRM built specifically for podcasters, maintained by a single developer who uses AI to handle everything from coding to customer support. Sherwin's perspective on how AI should be adopted in large enterprises inverts the standard corporate playbook. The conventional approach is the top-down mandate. The CEO declares the company will use AI, buys expensive tools, and forces everyone to use them. Sherwin states flatly that this approach often yields a negative ROI. His data suggests that successful adoption is almost exclusively bottom-up. He advises finding technical adjacent employees, often not even software engineers, but operations leads or Excel wizards, and forming a tiger team to evangelize the tools. The logic here is that AI utility is highly specific to the last mile of a workflow. A CEO cannot mandate how a marketing analyst uses ChatGPT. Only the analyst can figure that out. Therefore, the organization must flip its hierarchy, allowing the lowest level employees to define the high-level AI strategy based on what actually works in the trenches. Sherwin identifies a market reality that Silicon Valley completely ignores. When we think of AI, we think of code generation, creative writing, or chatbots. He believes the true sleeping giant is business process automation. This violates the high-tech bias. We tend to value open-ended creative work. Sherwin argues that the vast majority of the global economy runs on standard operating procedures, boring, repeatable, deterministic workflows in industries like logistics, insurance, and utilities. These aren't software problems, they are process problems. He believes the massive unglamorous opportunity lies in applying AI agents to these rigid workflows. While everyone is fighting over who can write the best poem or generate the best video, Sherwin suggests the real revolution is in automating the mundane, invisible bureaucracy that actually runs the world. Sherwin Wu's analytical approach reveals a consistent pattern. He systematically bets on the rate of change rather than the current state. He is willing to discard fundamental human roles, writing code, hiring teams, managing workflows, if the trajectory of the technology suggests those roles will become obsolete. If the worst version of these models is already turning engineers into sorcerers and individuals into unicorns, what happens when they actually get good? If you're interested in the video featured in this episode, click the link below to watch the original.